Hey everyone, Erick Stakelbeck here. We got such a strong response to Tuesday's newscast that today we are following up with more of the latest developments involving the Iranian regime, Hezbollah, Turkey, Israel, and how it affects you. We are joined by one of the world's top experts on the Middle East who will break it down for us. Folks, this is information you need to know. Stick around. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast, coming to you once again from Studio B. As I mentioned the other day, we are in the process, my family and I, of moving. So it's a bit of a hectic time right now in the Stakelbeck household. So coming to you kind of down and dirty for the next few newscasts, just from my phone, from our secondary studio. But hey, the key thing here is the information, and I saw that very clearly on our last newscast. That was Tuesday, July 21st, just 2 days ago. You can check it out here on YouTube at our archives. A very, very strong response. Lots of viewers, lots of comments. What we talked about was the Iranian regime's march, obviously, across the Middle East, and the response. Number one, Israel reportedly striking Iranian positions around Damascus in Syria, at least 5 Iranian-linked fighters killed. And number two, the recurrence of these mysterious explosions inside Iran. What does it all mean? Who is behind them? And lastly, we hit on Hezbollah. European and American lawmakers with a strong push now to see Hezbollah banned throughout the European Union, in all European Union nations. So a lot of breaking developments. The Middle East is heating up. A long, hot summer continues. I think we're just getting started. Again, check that out. Tuesday, July 21st, our Tuesday newscast right here on YouTube. While you're at it, subscribe and click the notification button so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. The good news is we are able to build on that Tuesday newscast and move the ball forward on all of these breaking developments with one of the world's top Middle East experts. Jonathan Schanzer is the Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies in Washington, D.C., a great think tank. Jonathan is coming up in a second. Before we get to him, real quick, be sure to stick around until the end of our interview because we've got a very special exclusive offer here for you. We are partnering with Audible, that's the world leader in audiobooks, to offer you a free audiobook written by yours truly. If you love the newscast and you love the Watchman TV show, you should probably know that I've also written 3 books about all of these issues, the Middle East, radical Islam, and how it affects you no matter where you live. So stay tuned because you will be able to get a free audiobook if you stay tuned for all the details a bit later. But up first, Jonathan Schanzer from the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies is with us to break down all the latest developments in the Middle East. And what happens in the Middle East does not stay in the Middle East. Take a look. Well, John, thanks so much for joining us as always. We had a reported Israeli strike against Iranian and Hezbollah assets the other day outside of Damascus. One Hezbollah fighter was apparently killed. Now Hezbollah is breathing threats of retaliation. What do we know? And also, what do we know about Iran's attempts to get very advanced weaponry into the hands of Hezbollah?
Hey, Eric, thanks so much for having me on the show. I would say that the strike that took place, or the alleged strike that took place in Damascus or outside of Damascus, was part of an ongoing campaign that the Israelis have been waging. They're calling it the war between wars or the campaign between wars, where they are targeting what they call game-changing weapons. Sometimes that also includes some personnel, whether it's Hezbollah, IRGC, or other Iranian leadership. But what they're trying to do is to take out threats on the battlefield, in particular in Syria, where the fog of war has allowed them a little bit greater flexibility, and they're just trying to take out whatever they can to forestall a broader conflict. Now, that broader conflict, as you alluded to, stems from Iran's efforts right now to move precision-guided munitions, or what we commonly call PGMs, into Lebanon or potentially on Israel's border in Syria. And these PGMs are extremely dangerous. You talk to Israeli officials and they will tell you that it is the most dangerous threat to Israel, second only to the Iranian nuclear program. And the reason why it's so dangerous to Israel is two things. One is it might be able to evade Iron Dome. So they have these evasive measures that would potentially prevent Israel from being able to knock these rockets out of the sky. The other thing is that these rockets, if they're able to get through Israel's defenses, are able to hit targets within 5 to 10 yards of where they intended. So just think about what that could mean for the alleged nuclear site in Dimona, or the chemical refinery in Haifa, or the Kiryat, the so-called Pentagon in Tel Aviv. These things are making the Israelis very nervous, and it's for that reason you're going to continue to see these strikes that take place in Syria and perhaps beyond.
Wow, Jonathan, this is a game changer, the precision-guided munitions to get into the hands of Hezbollah. As you said, greater accuracy, and what really scares me is the possibility that they could kind of circumvent Iron Dome. Wow, that shows you the level of advancement and why it's a red line for Israel, right?
Absolutely, and what we're hearing is there's two ways of constructing these PGMs. One is that Iran's trying to they construct them in Iran and then try to ship them in their entirety through Syria into Lebanon. The other way that they do it is they take the parts, so fins, the circuitry, the GPS systems, and all the things that they need to convert what we would typically call dumb rockets or unguided rockets and turn them into PGMs. These kits cost somewhere in the vicinity of $15,000. So it's not cheap, but it's also not prohibitively expensive for the Iranians. So they're doing that now and trying to get these kits into the hands of Hezbollah so they can convert them. And right now, the estimate is that there are a few hundred of these rockets currently in Hezbollah's possession, and that is pushing Israel closer and closer to the precipice of what could be a really devastating war in the Middle East.
Yeah, John, it seems, sadly, God forbid, it seems like we may be on that track because Iran and Hezbollah continue to push up against the Golan, up against Israel's northern border. Now we see this series of, I guess you would say, mysterious explosions over the past month or so in Iran. Can you tell us anything about that? And it seems, and you tweeted about this the other day, wow, Iran is getting hit hard, not only in Syria, but inside Iran. It seems like eventually the Iranian regime, you would think, may try to retaliate in some way. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that Iran is getting pounded, and obviously the Israelis are not taking credit for strikes that are taking place inside Iran, but of course Israel is widely thought to be behind this. And I think to a certain extent the Israelis may be trying to take advantage of the disparity in the COVID crisis and the economic crisis that's happening inside Iran, while the Israelis, even with a most recent spike in reported cases, has it largely under control, and it looks like they're able to get back to business as usual. That may be what's going on. Of course, we can't prove that at all. But if what we're seeing is accurate, it looks like the Israelis have taken that campaign between wars or war between wars that I mentioned earlier, and they're extending it. They're taking it beyond Syria, and they're taking it to where the conflict is originating. And so we have seen dozens of reports now of fires and explosions that are taking place at nuclear facilities, at warehouses that may contain PGM parts, at oil facilities, and other areas that are considered to be strategic to the Iranians. It looks, at least from an outsider's perspective, that the Israelis are trying to take advantage of this moment now. Also, I think it's probably fair to say that they don't know what will come after November. With the elections here in the United States, right? So they're taking advantage of what I think is broadly viewed as a green light for action. Now, again, the Israelis will not claim credit for this. We may find that there's some other actor that's involved, but assuming it is the Israelis, this would be the impetus behind what we're seeing.
Yeah, John, shifting gears a bit to Turkey. Obviously, Erdogan and Turkey made headlines a little while ago. Converting the Hagia Sophia into a mosque officially caused a bit of a stir, needless to say, around the world. He's also involved heavily now in Libya, in Syria, of course, kind of flexing Turkey's muscles in the Mediterranean. You have been someone who has been very forthright about calling Erdogan out. What's the latest there in Turkey? And just so people know, can you tell us how Turkey is really taking a drift far away from NATO under Erdogan?
Yeah, I mean, Turkey is a malign actor. I think that if we were being honest about it, if our State Department was going to do a truly honest and accurate assessment, Turkey would qualify as a state sponsor of terrorism. And really, it's clear to me anyway that Turkey does not belong in NATO. The problem is that NATO doesn't have a mechanism for ejecting members. It's like, as I always joke, it's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can't leave. And it's just been, I think, really frustrating for a lot of the U.S. and Western aligned countries that would like to be able to wield this alliance to greater effect, and we're just not seeing the ability to do that. Specifically, what Turkey's been doing, I mean, they were responsible in large part for the flood of ISIS fighters that streamed into Syria during that phase of the Syrian civil war. They are a huge headquarters for Hamas. They continue to house a lot of the operatives and fundraisers that Hamas needs in order to operate. And this is, of course, a major source of tension with the Israelis. And then you've got some of these other things that are going on right now. You've got tensions in Libya. Reports the other day that 3,000 to 4,000 fighters were sent by Turkey to support the efforts for an Islamist-led government that would counter the government supported by Egypt and the UAE. And there's, I would say, a proxy battle that's taking place in Libya. That's, of course, a dangerous country in general. It's been in the throes of civil war for a long time now, and it's a clear sign of adventurism on the part of Erdogan. But then you've got this other interesting thing where the Turks are provoking the Cypriots and the Greeks. They're drilling for gas in the Mediterranean in ways that are clearly deemed illegal and ignoring the sovereign rights of other countries that are EU members. So the Turks continue to provoke. They continue to do as they please. And, this is, I think, a clear sign for the United States to intervene. But for some reason, Democrat and Republican administrations alike have just stood back and allowed Erdogan to run roughshod over the United States and our allies.
You know, it's so true, Jonathan. It's so frustrating to witness that. Erdogan continuing to get somewhat of a pass from Western leaders on both sides of the aisle. But hey, thank God we have you sounding the alarm and telling it like it is when it comes to Erdogan. Jonathan, thank you so much. We'll see you again soon, my friend.
My pleasure.
Folks, you can follow all of Jonathan's great work at fdd.org. Follow him on Twitter as well. He is one of the best. Now, at the top, we told you about a very special offer that we have. We are partnering with Audible. They are the world leader in audiobooks. They do much more than that. They're in podcast, all sorts of great things going on with the team at Audible. But we are partnering with them here at the Watchman Newscast to offer you one of my books, one of my audiobooks, for absolutely free. All you have to do is go to www.audibletrial.com/thewatchman to get one of my 3 audiobooks for absolutely free. Now, we've got The Terrorist Next Door, which focuses on homegrown terror here in the United States and the enemy within. We've got The Brotherhood, which focuses on the Muslim Brotherhood movement in Egypt, in the West, and worldwide, and how they are really the granddaddy of them all when it comes to this modern terrorist threat that we are facing. Lastly, my 3rd book is called ISIS Exposed, and I think the title pretty much says it all. I think if you love the newscast and you love our Watchmen TV show, you will love these books. And I know it's really hard these days for people with the chronic busyness, with everyone's kids at home sheltering in place. It may be hard to actually sit down and take the time to read a book. It's a sad fact, and that's why audiobooks are so great. Right now, as I'm driving, as I'm working out, as I'm doing housework, I'm listening to The Book of Signs by Dr. David Jeremiah as an audiobook from Audible, and I just pre-ordered The Harbinger Part 2, which I can't wait to get. That comes out September 1st, also on Audible. Thousands upon thousands of titles you will find at Audible. And if you sign up for a free trial, again, it's www.audibletrial.com/thewatchman. You see the URL there on your screen. If you sign up absolutely free for a trial, you will get a free audiobook. One of the 3 titles, The Brotherhood, ISIS Exposed, or The Terrorist Next Door, up to, I believe, each audiobook has up to 7 hours worth of content that will keep you busy on long drives this summer if you're going to the beach or going on vacation, or if you're working out, doing work around the house. Again, I have found, as a very busy guy, as I know everyone watching is, I have found that audiobooks are a great way to get my reading in. It's through my ears and not through my eyes, perhaps, but it's a great way to get all these books done. I have a very long list. I'm a voracious reader. I have to be, and I love it. So audiobooks for me are a very easy way to keep up to date on all the latest releases. So again, check that very special offer out. We think you'll love Audible, and I hope that you'll love the books. Again, the same kind of content that we're talking about here every Tuesday and Thursday on the Newscast, and weekly on the Watchman TV show, you will get in these 3 audiobook titles. And who knows, maybe number 4 will be on the way very soon. Take advantage of this very special offer. Good stuff, and perfect for the summer vacation time. I hope you're doing a lot of summer reading and listening. Well, thanks for joining us today on the Watchman Newscast. Be sure to subscribe, click the notification button, check out the TV show as well. And until next time, man, just because it's summer, the Middle East never sleeps, but we continue to bring you the kinds of breaking, cutting-edge updates that you just will not hear anywhere else. Thanks for joining us. God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace.